What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Let's talk about the completely abnormal performance of the S&P 500 index, because yes, it does not rely anymore on many very basic economic factors. Its performance is simply boosted by very small and unusual factors. Specifically, what I'm talking about is that approximately since February 2023, S&P 500 gained approximately 35%. But if you take a look at the performance of the S&P 500 index equal weight, where every single company represents 1/500th of the index and not depends on how big the market capitalization of this particular company, well, the performance of this S&P 500 equal weight for the very same period is only 7%, which is the difference of 5 times. And well, you guessed it, or you've been watching my previous videos. The reason for this, it is because there are top 5, top 10, top 20 by some people, these magnificent companies: Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, you name them. So these are the companies which have been significantly overperforming the performance of the index itself, and since they represent a massive part of the index itself, they are the ones which are boosting the entire index with them. Just for example, top 5 companies in the index represent at the moment of recording this video approximately 27% of the entire index, which is the biggest number in its entire history. If we also take a look at Russell 2000 index, which represent 2000 companies, well, the performance of this index is already only 1% for the very same period. So as you can see, the market, the stock market particularly, and some just individual companies, the performance of these two is very different. So whenever you take a look at, say that, well, S&P 500 goes up all the time, we're in the bullish market, as you can imagine, that's not the correct thing to say. For example, right here is the graph which perfectly proves the point. It shows that the number of companies which is reaching its 52 weeks lows, it starts to go up. And well, the performance of the index is opposite from this. It keeps going up. And usually the correlation between these two things was obvious, and I mean, it makes sense. If you have a lot of companies which go down significantly, the index goes down as well. But not since March of last year, when this correlation got completely broken. Which basically means that yes, as soon as these top 5, top 10 companies, as soon as they start to go down significantly, and majority of them they are due to at least healthy correction. You know which companies I'm talking about, right? Yes, this will not completely crash the index, this will drag the index down with them, maybe single digit, maybe double digits. It will not be most likely a massive Armageddon panic, but in case other companies which are right now reaching their all-time lows, whenever they start rebounding, well, even though they will be the ones who will be overperforming right now, just because of these mega cap companies with billions of dollars in capitalization, well, this will send the performance of the index itself into just neutral flatline. And also, the growth of these particular magnificent companies is also limited. With every single day they keep going up, because yes, at first it might be relatively easy to gain 10-20% in a month, in a year, and so forth, reaching the capitalizations in hundreds of billions of dollars. But whenever you already is a $1 trillion company, then adding additional 20%, which represents $200 billion in market capitalization, this is not suddenly such an easy thing. And as soon as this moment happens, we're gonna face exactly the opposite situation. These massive companies, they will be declining, but instead of index declining along with them, it might decline just a little bit, or most likely it will be just completely flat for the next several months or even years, while the majority of the index, the rest 95% of companies, they are the ones which will be going up. Which brings me to my first point, in which companies people should try and invest next, is probably something that not too many people are talking about. I'm not gonna say any specific companies, I'm not a registered financial professional or anything like this. I don't even think it's legal to suggest investing in a particular company here on YouTube, but you get the idea. Think about companies that not too many people talk about, which are maybe somehow famous, which you are using the products of these companies every single day. Take a look at them, research them, look at the financials, and most likely they will be pretty good opportunities. Not all of them, but some of them for sure. And definitely do not at this point invest in hyped companies, because at the point where every single person is talking about this or that company, well, it is obviously way too late to invest in it at this point. I wouldn't also personally allocate 100% of my portfolio just in stocks, because diversification always wins long term. And just for example, my perfect portfolio at this stage of my life will look something like following. 60% will be in shares, stocks, 20% will be in real estate in form of at least REITs, real estate investment trusts, 15% will be in fixed income securities like bonds and treasuries, and 5% is so-called like gambling money, high risk investments, cryptocurrencies, but only the ones which are well established: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, just for example. And once again, this is just my perfect portfolio for my current stage of life. Your situation will obviously and most likely will be different. That is why do not blindly follow my example and rely more first of all on your risk appetite. If you are more willing to risk, well, allocate more to shares. If you're not willing to take much risk, decrease the percentage of shares in your companies of securities, and maybe allocate more to fixed income securities, once again, bonds and treasuries. The same thing can be applied to your age. The closer you are to retirement, the sooner you will need this money, the less risky your portfolio should be. Once again, switching to fixed income securities, maybe even CODs, certificate of deposits in your bond that you are using, or maybe if you want to be completely safe, just literally simply savings accounts. At this point, there is only a few years left potentially in your investing journey. For this reason, in case something major happens, you might simply unfortunately not have enough time for your portfolio to recover. That is why it is best not to be as greedy right now, but instead to preserve as much capital as possible. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if this was interesting, informative or both. See you tomorrow.